frustrating for the public to have to deal with these crimes on an everyday basis, and especially hear about their neighbors, their loved ones, their friends being victims of this crime. I can assure you that the men and women of not only my agency, but the agencies that are here are working tirelessly every day to find out who these individuals are. To bring them to the justice that is deserving upon them, to try to make sure that we can live a better quality of life, not only in Jefferson Parish, but all our surrounding parishes. It's frustrating for us to have to wake up and go to our next set of burglaries. We need the public to understand that we need you to report it. We need you to go out there and report the crimes that are occurring, because what's happening is we need them to work harder. I don't want an individual that goes out in the middle of the night to pull on 10 door handles and be able to get into 5. I want them to have to pull on 200 door handles. I need them to make a mistake. I need them to walk past a Ring camera. I need something to happen to be able to give us a break so that way we can go catch the individuals. Because when we catch them, we're going to tie it all together. And that's exactly what happened here. We had the ability of tracking individuals, and it's a small group of individuals. Let's face it, the vast majority of our neighbors in our communities are good, law-abiding citizens. But we have a small amount of individuals that create havoc and can create havoc very, very quickly. That's the case in this one. We made 5 arrests. I'm going to show you some linkages of putting all these things together. Tireless work that we've been able to make happen, with the amount of auto thefts that have been made, the amount of burglaries, the amount of evidence being recovered, the amount of guns that are being recovered, and then tying all of those down to what crimes were occurred, where they occurred, and all of our surrounding jurisdictions. We've got a PowerPoint here that's going to give you some slides, and I'm going to give it to the press once it's over with the individual slides. We'll move on the side. You put on the first one. Just to kind of give us some information of our cases solved in this individual case here. You look over on the top left is our cases solved and pending cases between all of our surrounding jurisdictions: Jefferson Parish, NOPD, Plaquemines Parish, and Kennet PD. We arrested 5 suspects, 3 adults and 2 juveniles 2 days ago for anywhere between 35 and 25 counts of different criminal crimes. We have additional 10 cases linked as of yet, but I can promise you that is building and is going to increase a lot further than what we have now. Recovered 6 vehicles so far that were stolen, that were used in most of these crimes. All of these vehicles are now have been recovered, whether they were from our jurisdiction or the other jurisdictions. And so far, we have got to recover 6 firearms that we're listing today, but I also know that we have some additional firearms that we're going to start doing the tracing on that to be able to hopefully pin them back to some other different types of crimes. You can flip it over. The evidence recovered just yesterday included several stolen firearms, including 150-round drum magazine, rubber gloves, punch-out tools to break windows, a multitude of credit cards, stolen credit cards, driver's licenses that were taken out of vehicles, some narcotics, which was actually methamphetamine mixed with fentanyl, which was a new one for us, ski mask, and all kind of different tools to be able to utilize in burglaries. Flip it again. This different wanted bulletins that we've been utilizing and sharing within our law enforcement partners of all the vehicles that we knew were involved with the burglaries. Let's face it, y'all, we get this information from the public. I know the public is always frustrated with seeing the crime. The fact of it is we need the ability of have those cameras. 20 years ago, these crimes were still happening. We just didn't have the knowledge of it as much because we didn't have the social media aspect and we didn't have the video aspect. The video aspect gives us the ability to solve crimes quicker. It's very important for that. Unfortunately, it gives fear to the public because they see it on a more regular basis. We need that information. You know, the more that we have, when we know, the first thing we're going to do when we have vehicle burglaries in an area, we're going to go look for the cameras to see it exists and try to track it down the vehicles that happen. That way we can put all this together when we do make it. This case really was about identifying one particular vehicle, knowing it was still out there. We had information that it ended up being at Oakwood Mall the other day. One of my burglary detectives took it upon himself to go to Oakwood Mall and start looking for the looking for the vehicle. They found the vehicle parked, abandoned in Oakwood. Contacted the other burglary detectives along with our set team here in Jefferson Parish. They set up outside, waited for the 5 individuals to come out to the car and took them down, where they recovered the full weapons that you see in front of me and all the additional information. You know, it's great, you know, initiative by a detective to go out there and do it, but we've got to be able to get lucky sometimes and then be able to tie it all back. And the video that we are pulling from the houses give us the ability to tie it all back. Flip it again. The 3 adult arrests in this case is Titania Howard, born 10/25 of 2021. He's got a total of, I'm going to look at it real quick, 31 different counts. Again, we'll list them out and give this slide to y'all when we finish here. Next slide. We also have Mr. Mackey, which has a total of 25 separate counts. And the last is Tashonda Mercelin she's got another 25 counts that we have currently as charges in Jefferson Parish. But as I said, we're working various different leads to tie them to additional crimes. Y'all, this is not the only group that's out there. It's not. Let's be real. We had some vehicle burglaries in Jefferson Parish this morning. While we know that they're not involved because they're in jail. They're not the only group out there. As I said earlier, it's a small group of individuals that can create havoc very, very quickly. We ask for your vigilance, and now we'll take, really want to thank our burglary division that's really stepped out and put a lot of hard work in over the last few weeks. I mean, they do it every day, but over the last few weeks, specifically in this case, quickly to make this arrest yesterday, and our crime lab that really goes above and beyond to go out and run the evidence that they need to try to pin it all together. You know, in Jefferson, I'm really lucky to have our own crime lab. They have the ability to process our evidence quickly, to give the detectives what they need in order to try to make these arrests. It's something that's very important for us, and it shows in these type of cases when you can put it together. On that, I'll ask Chief Ferguson come say a few words. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning, everyone. This is about partnerships. I want to thank Sheriff Lopinto, Sheriff Turlidge, as well as Chief Glaser for their partnership. When many of our criminals may think that we are restricted by boundaries or jurisdictions, it is partnerships and collaborations such as this that allow us to be a force multiplier together in ensuring the safety of our entire metropolitan area. And this does not stop in, just as the sheriff has said. This is just one of a few other crews, I guess you would say, or groups that are committing these crimes. And we, as a law enforcement partnership, continue to work diligently every day to do our due diligence in ensuring the safety of our citizens. So thank you all again for this partnership. We look forward to building more on these partnerships. This is what this is about, collaboration, and the buck does not stop here. So again, thank you all. Thank you.
Chief Glaser.
Thank you. Again, I'm Chief Glaser with Kenner Police, and I'd like to echo the comments of the Sheriff and the Chief about the cooperation. This wouldn't have been solved as quickly without our detectives communicating continuously with it. All this is considered property crimes where, you know, property's taken, there's really no lives lost. But in one incident in Kenner, a victim heard his burglar alarm go out, walked outside, and these perpetrators, at least 2 of them, shot at him more than a dozen times. We recovered several guns at that location, but that just goes to show you how it can escalate quickly. So I guess no one said it yet, I guess advice to the public is to call the police when you hear alarms. And as we know, in some of these are unreported, whether or not they knew they were victims of a burglary or they just failed to report it. But we need you to report every burglary you have so we can link it together with these groups to actually get them off the street. As we know, we made an arrest yesterday morning of a juvenile that's going to be linked to this and probably several other ones, because during search warrants we recovered even more weapons. So the quickest way to get these people off the street is to contact us. And with the cooperation of all these agencies, we're able to get it done. As we know, we have, as I said, several other ones moving around the metropolitan area. So we'll try to link them into this. The property kind of links it, but we need the public to kind of continue to report it to us, and that's the way. It's a little different. These were all smash and grabs in Kenner. I preach to lock your cars, as the sheriff just said. Harden your target. But this was a little unique, so report your crimes to us.
Thank you, Sheriff. Plaquemines, we're a little smaller than Orleans and Jefferson, so we don't have a lot of these, but we do have them. And like you said, the borders, they don't stop some of these criminals from leaking over into Plaquemines. We had a vehicle stolen Sunday night, Monday morning. We were fortunate our detectives located that car in New Orleans East yesterday, and we made 2 apprehensions as well. It appears that one of the guns was stolen out of that vehicle and probably is linked, from what I'm hearing, to the individuals that JPSO just apprehended. So they are all connected. They do roam around. I urge our citizens to make sure that you do lock your cars. If you do see something that doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, please call us, and our response time is quick, and we'll get that in very quickly. So thank you.
With that, y'all, I'll take any questions.
Sheriff, on the automobiles that you guys have identified, where were those cars stolen from?
Were any of them stolen in carjackings?
You know, I don't know that specifically to tell you. I mean, I certainly can find that out, but I don't know if they were specifically in carjackings or not. It wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not 100% sure. I know some of them were definitely thefts, but I'd have to go back and look at those individual cases to see what the case was. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So in terms of the different groups here, I mean, this is a wide geographical area that we're talking about, all these different cities and parishes. What does it say about the severity of what's been going on that y'all are?
You know, again, it depends, right? I mean, officially our burglaries in Jefferson Parish have been down, but then you got to look at what constitutes as a burglary from our vehicle burglaries, and I think your hand, door pullers are, it's just frustrating because I give this at a civic association meeting. It doesn't mean that wasn't happening 10 years ago. We're just so much more aware of that it's happening. And now it's a lot more brazen. You won't have anything for 6 months, and then all of a sudden you'll have 35 cars broken into a night into one apartment complex, right? And again, it's just havoc for the sake of havoc, and that's something that is frustrating because, look, I wish we had an answer, but you can ride with me tomorrow night. Tell me which street we want to sit on. The fact of it is, it's not like we're not out there trying to patrol, trying to do it, but it's a frustrating crime that can occur very quickly. And you're riding down the street and you see a car pull around, all right, you jump behind the bush real quick and the car passes you. It's not like our officers aren't out there, but we don't prevent crime, really anywhere. Our job is to try to solve crime quickly to prevent the next crime from happening. I don't want them to get 20 counts. I want to catch them after the first so they don't get to the other 20 counts. And so it's hard for me to catch them in the act, but it's very good for me when we can put something like this together. And that's the part of it. I mean, we're recovering evidence on this case and other cases where it wasn't even reported. Look, every one of us, you've heard us say it a million times, lock your guns away, don't leave them in your car. 2 of these are reported stolen. The other 2 will probably have to figure out that they are stolen, but 2 of them are reported stolen. And that's just the difference. You're giving access to weapons that are being used out in the street, that are being used for additional crimes, whether it's carjackings, armed robberies, murders, different shootings. Locking it up and making it more difficult, it gives us a bigger advantage when we're trying to catch them.
And feel free, I mean, for any of the chiefs here, just the most recent series that we've been seeing, is there this general impression, do you think, that people are feeling more able to get away with these crimes, and that's what's perhaps causing this?
I don't know. We're only being able to supply the evidence that we have in front of us, right? We're not, I give the best picture to most people. We're puzzle builders, right? We don't witness the crime most of the time. We puzzle build it. And so our job is to go collect the puzzle pieces. If I give you 5 pieces to a puzzle without the box, can you tell me what the puzzle is going to look like? No. But if I collect a credit card, that's another 10 pieces. If I collect a gun, that's another 10 pieces. If that gun matches a casing from another shooting someplace else, that's another 10 pieces. And at the end of the day, I may be able to get 750 pieces. Can you tell me what the puzzle is going to look like afterwards? And so our job is to collect those puzzle pieces. Sometimes the crimes, we don't have that many pieces. Sometimes it comes together like this. And so no matter what jurisdiction you're in, you're trying to collect those puzzle pieces to give it to the DA so they can put the best case on. Sometimes the case that's in front of you may not be the strongest one, but you've got to take the one that's connected to the same individual that's a lot stronger, but maybe a lesser crime. You know, and those things we got to put them together to realize that they all work and they're intertwined with something. You know, it's hard for me to prosecute a murder when the person's dead and my star witness doesn't have the ability to speak. But I may be able to get the gun that used to kill him to be able to get a possession and by a convicted felon and be able to get that person off the streets for a few years. And so you got to recognize that's in existence, and we've got to work, you know, well with our other partner agencies and law enforcement, whether it's the judges, whether it's the DAs, to hopefully get a little bit better position.
You talk about havoc for havoc's sake in this. Is there any indication that this is any more sophisticated or organized than it's ever been? And what's the MO? Are they going after the guns? Are they using the cards?
They're using the cards. They're certainly using the cards. I'm gonna believe that they're using the guns. I don't have any things that I'm gonna share with you today, but we're gonna work those angles and you know, work all of these weapons up and see where they've been used at in the past. We know that they've been using the cards, and in fact, we've been able to prove some of our cases where they stole cards, went to the store, used them immediately, and that's how we've tracked some of them down also. So we actually had some warrants for some of these previous cases before we even made the arrest on it. So it's both.
You said all 5 were arrested yesterday?
All 5 of the ones that I'm releasing today. We've had some additional arrests at other locations that I don't think we're going to spread out today, but we're linking those connections as we speak.
And those 5 were at Oakwood?
These 5 were at Oakwood, correct.
Gotcha. So the detectives saw the car was abandoned?
So we had information from the previous cases that they were utilizing cars at Oakwood. Found one of the stolen vehicles parked in the Oakwood parking lot. Contacted our detectives in our burglary section and our SET team, our strategic engagement team. We set up there on the car waiting for the individuals to come out, and when they came out back to the vehicle, we were able to take them down. 2 of them were armed with 3 separate firearms, and there was another gun in the vehicle itself. But no problems with the arrest. We were able to overcome it very quickly and obviously recover the evidence that you see here.
So that was a quick setup for the operation?
It was. It happened within minutes. You know, I mean, I think they set up on less than an hour, but they put it together within an hour. So,
Thank you.
yep.
Chief, do you guys, either of you can answer this, do you see
See this particular partnership as being key to being able to sort of get past the frustrations we've been seeing in the past couple of, at least in the last year or two, where these things have ramped up, these property
crimes are ramped up across the jurisdiction?
Well, I mean, I'll let the chief talk also, but as he said, crime has no boundaries. This is not the first case that we collaborated on, right? You know, I mean, we collaborate every day. We're working with these cases. This kind of put it together where I thought it was important for us to get together and have what we're doing here today. But it's not like his detectives, my detectives, and everybody else aren't communicating on cases on a daily basis. You know, we've got to work together. It's too easy. I mean, every day when I drive over here to my office, I have to pass through Orleans Parish to be here. Criminal has the same ability and the means to be able to do the same. So this is not the first time, and it certainly won't be the last time. Chief, you want to respond?
I mean, I think you said it all, even with regards to not just the 4 of us who are standing here, but even our 5th one, our big brother, our Louisiana State Police. I mean, of course, we work together on a daily basis, and not just on, as the sheriff has said, this may be, and even the chief said it, this may be perceived as just a property crime, but it can rapidly escalate to a violent crime, and we all know that all too well. So this collaboration is just, what we're doing today is just a display of our daily collaboration. That is what it comes to at the end of the day. We do this daily, and we will continue to do just that.
It's also an expensive crime. I had to pay for a couple of windshields myself, so.
Yes.
Is the carjacking issue a New Orleans problem, or is that also a multi-jurisdictional problem as far as you can tell?
You know, yeah, I mean, look, the national trend is up by all means. I want to say we had 16 total last year, which was not high in my opinion, but I've had several within the first couple of weeks. You know, I think maybe 6 in the first couple of weeks of Jefferson Parish. 3 that I believe are connected to one individual, just because of the proximity of where they occurred. So I won't say it's out of control. I mean, we're looking forward, you know, to making an arrest on that and dealing with it, but I'm not seeing the number uptick as the chief is, as it, but, you know, it's certainly, it's a different type of crime. You know, people utilizing different means. I mean, let's face it, computer crime really didn't exist 30 years ago. Things evolve as time goes by, and this is the new, I don't know if you want to call it that, but new trendy thing to do out there by these individuals, which I think is, you know, horrible, but it's just what we're faced with. Anything else, Sean? Yeah, real quick, I mean, no, don't do any close-ups of obviously the cards and anything outside, but everything else, we're going to have an actual picture that we're going to share with y'all. It's got all this on it too, but try not to do any close-ups of that. Appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Hey, Sheriff,
Yeah.
the cars you showed in the picture, are all those stolen vehicles, the ones you had up on the slide?
The cars on the, yes, were all stolen vehicles and recovered. They have all been recovered at this point in time. And, yeah, we'll pass that out too, which has the slides on. You're going to get a copy of every slide that we put up. Yep. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.